Okay, guys, I need to be honest with you. Mom, I'm recording a video. That's just sad.
Horrors lurk around every corner in the sinister...
Okay, just saying, if you really like Little Nightmares and you're having a good day so far, don't watch this video. I just woke up. I still like Little Nightmares, but nothing really happened, so... Okay.
City setting of Little Nightmares 2. This deadly game of hide-and-seek picks up where the original left off. This time with an entirely new set of twisted tormentors, hunting you through a variety of dread-inducing locations. It's a formula that works, and Little Nightmares 2 certainly has its fair share of exhilarating moments over the course of its fleeting 4-hour duration. But it also plays things a little safe, utilising many of the original's puzzle-solving and stealth mechanics.
Yeah, because the original game was literally like one of the best games, if not the best game released in 2017. They're trying to do that again. What do you think?
Instead of being a shocking new horror, Little Nightmares 2's stalk through the shadows ultimately proves to be somewhat of a retread. New protagonist Mono may look different to the original game's Six, but his skill set is largely the same. The key difference here is Mono's ability to pick up and wield a handful of different weapons to either smash through specific sections of the scenery or defend himself from smaller enemies. Additionally, Mono is equipped with the services of Six herself, since she tags along as an AI-controlled partner through much of the journey. Six's role is that of a more proactive version of Yorda from Eco, but her relationship with Mono doesn't really evolve into the partnership that made that PS2 classic so special. Six becomes a handy guide whenever one of Little Nightmares 2's adult antagonists gives chase, blazing a trail a few yards in front of you to highlight a path that will keep you out of harm's way. This obviously helps to minimise the trial and error in more high-pressure sequences, but her companionship doesn't otherwise introduce much in the way of teamwork as far as puzzles are concerned. There aren't really any complex mechanisms that demand to be operated in tandem. Instead, you mostly perform simple...
Yeah, because they don't want the game to be like too hard and too long, because if it's too long, because then people are just gonna be like, you know, never mind. I mean, mostly because they don't want it to be hard. So
synchronized acts, like using your combined weight to dislodge heavier objects that are blocking the way forward. It is admittedly quite adorable the way Six will occasionally mimic Mono's actions. When he picks up an important puzzle item, she'll often scoop up a wooden building block and amble along behind him like a younger sibling.
It's not adorable, it's like sort of like, oh cool. Do you think it's adorable? What do you look like?
But much like a little sister, Six also often finds herself getting in the way, stubbornly standing in your path while you're dragging a piece of furniture, for example. At other times, she just got stuck on nothing at all, and wouldn't budge no matter how many times I called out to her, which forced me to trigger a checkpoint restart. While Six's inclusion does eventually have a surprising story payoff late in Little Nightmares 2, in a way I won't spoil here, her presence feels largely underutilised for the bulk of the
unutilized for the bulk of what?
Adventure. It also breaks the...
Well, I could agree with him, but I think Little Nightmares 2 is supposed to be more focused about Mono, but I would wish to see more of it, I guess, yeah.
Immersion somewhat that Mono is so easily spotted the moment he edges outside of the shadows. Yet Six can seemingly stumble around in the spotlight right under an enemy's nose and attract about as much attention as a broken television set. Speaking of which, busted boob tubes are found littered along your path through Little Nightmares 2's gloomy narrative, which appears to be a sardonic commentary on the screen obsession of modern society. This leads to some hilariously dark moments later on, when Mono is able to toggle these goggle boxes on and off to draw the focus of certain enemy types and lure them to their death like media-loving lemmings. And as was the case with the original, it's the villains that really are the stars of Little Nightmares 2. There are a number of truly terrifying creations hell-bent on sniffing you out. But the one that had me most on edge was the schoolteacher with the serpentine neck. Just hearing the leathery squeak of her stretching spine off camera was enough to make me wince. But the appearance of her dead-eyed grimace wobbling at the end of it was a genuinely chilling sight.
Not chilling. Okay, maybe I'm just not scared of anything that's not a jump scare. Well, that's not scary or creepy at all.
How you avoid these hulking towers of terror, however, is by using mostly the same simple stealth techniques established in the original. Crouch walking to quieten your footsteps and scurrying between the shadowy undersides of tables whenever their gaze is averted. One standout section of Little Nightmares 2 satisfyingly strays from the norm by giving Mono a torch that freezes prosthetic-limbed hospital patients in place anytime they're caught in...
Okay, guys, that's one of my favorite parts of, like, the whole game. But, like, Chapter 4 is, like, a whole, like, different level.
It's a frantically fun challenge to whip around in order to halt their approach from all angles, and I wish there were a few more interesting departures like this along the way. Even so, Little Nightmares 2 is still much better at flight than it is at fight, and the small amount of combat on offer failed to engage me to the same degree as the consistently hair-raising stealth. While I certainly savoured the visceral thrill of pulverising the porcelain skulls of the school section's bullies, I found judging the arc of my swing frustratingly imprecise anytime an enemy was above or below Mono in relation to the 2.5D camera viewpoint. These spatial awareness issues also meant I frequently failed to grab ropes like this, or got snatched seemingly out of nowhere by enemies like this. Thankfully...
Out of nowhere. You were walking towards it, Are you blind? Are you genuinely blind, IG? Now I know why you give Little Nightmares 2 only I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but it's not with Little Nightmares 2. Like, this is one of the best games, graphically and, like, amazingly, and then you're just like, I'm blind, so I'm gonna give this a blah blah out of 10. Just telling you, it's not 10 or it's something below 9. I'm just telling you. Anything below 9, I think, is an absolute lie. It's one of the best games, released in 2021, maybe even ever.
Regular checkpoints mean that clumsy moments like these aren't as annoying as perhaps they could have been.
Exactly.
Little Nightmares 2 is every bit as black, bleak, and eerily beautiful as the original. It's also just as brief, and although the introduction of the sixth character as an AI-controlled cult...
Just as brief, it's twice as long, man. It's twice as long, man.
Partner ultimately serves the story well. She's not really used to take the game's puzzle-solving and stealth to interesting new places, which seems like a real missed opportunity. While I still very much enjoyed each thrilling encounter with its menacing mob of monstrosities, the overall sense of familiarity this time around meant that Little Nightmares 2 left less of a lasting impact. There's no doubting developer
Did you just hear this person say that Little Nightmares 2 doesn't really stick with you after you play it? Come on, that's just beeswax. No, either you have a horrible memory, or you just absolutely don't care and just hating up this game.
Studios' artistry and ability, but I hope for its next...
Told you. 7 for probably one of the best games in 2021. Let's see what the fans have to say about this, man. Okay. Okay, I wrote that comment. They added, yeah. Why do you get lower scores for repetitiveness, but then every COD that comes out is apparently new and exciting? It's Little Nightmares, bro. That's why Little Nightmares, bro. Why should it have new things? Yeah, I agree with Ernabert. I don't know. This review is a nightmare. Yeah. He actually complained about sucking at the game. Bro, there's literally bro, I can complete like a whole like mini chapter without dying once, if I really wanted to. Yeah, Cyberpunk got 9 for its tremendous bugs. Hitman got 9 because of its reused technique. Little Nightmares got 7 for its reused mechanics and no new elements. This guy's a joke. But it did get new elements. It got co-op. It got like attacking, I guess, in a way. Yeah, Austin Smith. I really agree with this review as a nightmare. I enjoyed the game, but there's no good 7 out of 10. IGN. Oscar Tellers, I guess. If you feel useless, remember that this guy rated 7 on possibly one of the best game in 2021. Yeah. I agree with Rex feelings. I don't know. A mechanic is from the first gamer used no username. Him and free that might as well be just be a DLC map. His name is no username, I guess. The comment on the stunning visuals, atmosphere or music, whatever, man. I don't know if he's saying it himself, or if he's saying it for IGN. But if he's saying it for IGN, he probably just throws it out the window a couple of seconds later. Y'all should get someone who's actually into these games who just to review them, not a dude who just plays COD and doesn't understand what's going on. I agree with you, Diogo 11. I don't know. Give Cyber Trash a 9, and this is 7. Tim Holloway. This game's purpose to expand on a strange and unsettling world that we enjoyed. Yeah, I agree with you, Indie Rock. Similar to the first game, dude. It's a sequel. What did you expect? What did you expect it to be? An FPS or something? These are the people who Call of Duty is new and fresh every year. It's similar to the first game. Bro, I'm gonna watch like literally some stuff after this. Some more IGN reviews on Call of Duty, and then I'm gonna be like, you know. Don't trust this reviewer, guys. Just enjoy the game. I agree with Rocka Dharma Swan. I won't spoil the ending, but I will spoil a bunch of other stuff that happens in the game. Yeah. Okay. Nightmares 2 plays it safe. IGN 7 out of 10. Call of Duty does its 100 rehash. IGN 9 out of 10. I don't care what these critics have to say, honestly. The Nightmares 2 took everything from the first game and intensified it. To me, this was an absolute masterpiece. I agree with him to the max. This game has a How can you give this a 7? I agree with this guy. I just didn't feel like reading it, so I'll let you pause the video and read it. Okay, guys. So this game is definitely repetitive. Some of the reviewers on IGN clearly need to get fired. I agree with the crew. Okay, guys. So I think you've seen that the Little Nightmares fans and Little Nightmares 2 fans are very mad at this guy, which I am also mad at IGN. So, yeah.